Ahora vamos a hablar sobre los mandatos y pronombres. So now we're going to talk about commands and pronouns, because a lot of the times with commands you use the pronouns. Give it to me. Don't take it. Talk to her, for example. So with affirmative commands, the pronoun is attached to the conjugated verb. So any positive command, doesn't matter if it's the tú, the usted, the ustedes, or the nosotros, the pronoun is actually attached to the conjugated verb. This is the only time, and these are the pronouns that I'm talking about, direct, indirect, and reflexive. These are the only times that you ever actually attach a pronoun to a conjugated verb. So here is one of the formulas where it's command, IOP, and then DOP. I'm trying to tell you the order if you have two pronouns, that people are more important than things. So I mentioned that before. So you have the IOP, and then you have the DOP, and they are attached to the command. Think of it, dámelo, por ejemplo. Any other time with pronouns, they actually go before the conjugated verb. Now let's say we have a reflexive, so it's command, reflexive, and the DOP. So the direct object pronoun always goes last with the positive command. So negative commands, they go before the conjugated verb, just like everything else that we've been talking about before. All other verbs, it goes before. So the only irregularity is with a positive command. So you know this. You know that it's the IOP and then the DOP. So it's the person, and then it's the thing, and then it's the command. Okay? No me lo des. Okay? Don't give it to me. Would be an example. Okay. If you had a positive to command, it would be dámelo, and you would attach it to the end. If you have a reflexive, it's the reflexive, the DOP, and then the command. Instead of being, and this is how you've always known how to do it. Okay, when you have a statement, you would say, for example, you would put both of them in front of the conjugated verb in just a statement. Ejemplos. Okay, here's the to form. Cómprala. Buy it. Let's say it's la comida. This is the to positive. If you want to say don't buy it, no la compres. That would be don't buy it. That's the negative. So it goes in front. So like I said, the only irregularity here is in positive commands, you attach it. If you had like a regular sentence, and it's not a command, ella la compra. Right? That's what you're used to. She buys it. You always have it before. It's just with the positives, you attach it. And in many cases, you had an accent mark, which we're going to talk about in a second. Here's an usted. Lávese. Okay, lavarse. Right? So maybe you're trying to tell somebody, and you said, come in, lávese las manos. It's positive, so it's attached, and typically you have an accent mark. It's negative. Can you think about how you would do that? All you would do, it's the same formation of the command. It's no se lave. The difference is in the two commands, right, is compra is the third person singular, and the indicative, and then compres is the subjunctive. There's something up there. So the actual command conjugation just stays the same. Nosotros commands. There's a little bit of a difference here. They're still attached, so you follow the same rules as the other commands, but positive commands that are reflexive and or have the say, drop the final S in the command. For example, levantarse. Okay, the conjugation of levantar is levantemos. When you add the reflexive, the nos, you actually get rid of the S in the ending. Actually, if you look at that, when you get rid of the S, you have monos at the end. Monos actually means monkeys. It just sometimes helps there's monos at the end because the S that's supposed to be right there is taken out. It's not levantémonos, it's levantémonos. And you have to practice pronouncing these, okay? Go up on the accent mark, levantémonos, okay? Let's get up. Here's another one. This one's a little bit more obvious because if you kept both of the S's, you would have two S's next to it. So when you add a reflexive, which would be the nos, or you add the se, you get rid of the first S. Okay? And then it would be démoselo. Démoselo. If you do a negative nosotros command, though, again, you would put the pronouns in front. So it would be no nos levantemos, or no se lo demos, por ejemplo. Los acentos, the accent marks, I'm sure you were wondering about. I know this is a lot to read, but just follow along with me. We've been talking about this all year long. Verbs that end in N, S, or a vowel in any word, the stress of the voice falls on the next to the last syllable in any word in Spanish. If there's any other consonant that the word ends in, the stress of the voice is on the last syllable. If a rule is broken, an accent mark is needed. So if it ends in an N, S, or a vowel, for example, and the voice does not fall on the next to the last syllable, we need to put an accent mark. Why am I saying this? I'm going to give you an example. Da. One syllable, it means give, right? It's the to command. No accent mark, we know where the stress of the voice is. Let's say you add a pronoun, dame. You look at this because you're adding a syllable, so you're adding another syllable, so where do you stress your voice? Well, it says right up on top, if it ends in N, S, or a vowel, what this does, the stress of the voice is on the next to the last syllable, which it is, because it was originally on that. Once you add a pronoun, doesn't mean the stress of the voice changes. It does not. But let's see what happens if you add two of them. Dámelo. Give me it. Now the rule is saying that it ends in an O, which is the vowel right here. Stress is on the next to the last syllable. It's saying it's right here. Well, that's not true. It still stays in the original place, so you have to put an accent mark over it. The next one, muestre, show. All of these, if you think about it, end in N, S, or a vowel, the commands. The N would be the ustedes, the S would be nosotros, and a vowel would be the usted command or the to command. So all of them actually follow this first one right here. So muestre. So here, there is no accent. It's saying that the stress of the voice follows right there. What happens when you add a pronoun? Now, it's saying that the stress should be right here, which it's not. It doesn't change. So you have to put an accent mark. So that's why it happens. Typically, to be honest with you, the stress where you put an accent is typically the second to the last syllable on the original command. You'll notice that. Again, we add another one. The stress does not change. It's still where it was originally. But the rule is saying it's right here. It stays on the original section of the command. Despierta, for example. Okay? So this one, let's see, we want to divide it. Despierta. That's how you would divide the word. Okay? So despierta. Now, you're saying on the first one, stress ends right here on the second to the last syllable, which is fine. Despierta. You add the pronoun, now it's saying it ends there, but it doesn't. We're not changing where it is. We need an accent mark. So typically, to be completely honest with you, typically you know where to put it because it's the second to the last syllable on the original command. Are you wondering about why isn't it over the I? Well, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about diphthongs. You might have heard this before. A combination of a strong and a weak vowel is a diphthong. The strong vowels are A, E, and O, and the weak are I and U. One thing that might help you is I am weak, or you. Accent is over the strong vowel in a diphthong usually. So if you have two vowels together, typically the accent mark would be over the strong vowel, not the weak vowel. So that is why I'm going to go, well, do I have an example? Yes, I do. Tráigame. The reason why tráigame or traiga has an accent mark is if you look at it originally, the original command is traiga. It's saying that the stress of the voice is right here. No matter how many pronouns you put on there, the stress of the voice is right here. So you have to put an accent. And you have an A and an I, it goes over the A. When you add the pronouns, you have to have the may or the lo there to have the accent mark. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to review this PowerPoint tomorrow in class to see if you have any questions. Write down your questions and feel free to ask me, and we're going to be practicing tomorrow in class. So, buenas noches.